Hi there. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
And welcome, I am James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James.
And tonight I'm going to talk about a topic, but it's more than that. It's a participation. And you have to turn off your sound and refresh. So, the topic is whether or not you are suffering now. You are suffering now. This show is for you. Tune in and learn why. So, this is a participation show, and I'm going to tell you all about it. But before I do, Sweet Baby James is going to talk about our show.
Yes, you have come to Granny Rocks, where every Monday and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time, we have the opportunity to hear Granny share on various topics of interest and concern with her wit, her wisdom, and her very uncommon sense.
So, does that mean that I'm on?
You are on, Granny.
Okay. So, whether you're watching this right now or you're watching it in the future, you can participate in this show. So, there is a lot of suffering going on throughout the world. And you may or may not be suffering, but we're kind of all suffering to a degree, but some of us are suffering more than others. And what I'd like us to do on this show is we are going to help one another. Now, no, I can't send you money. We don't have any. We really are just making it. We're not really even making it, but but we can offer you something, which is understanding, and we want to reach out our hearts to you, and we're going to do this whole thing as an entire audience. Like, we are going to send you understanding, and we would like you guys to send understanding to one another. So first, let me tell you the truth. Sweet Baby James and I are not suffering much more than usual. Yes, we have fears as our income drops, and we could have a major problem in the future. But right now, because it's about whether or not you're suffering now, we have food, good food, especially because Sweet Baby James cook, a roof over our heads, health. Now, I don't mean I have health. I never have health, but my health isn't any worse than the normal lousy health that I have. We have each other. We live on land, so we can go outside, and we still have a lot to live for. In fact, I'm going to share with you that we have a puppy coming on Friday. So next week we may show you the puppy, and we have our old puppy who's 12 years old probably. We have our show where we can relate to you and talk to you.
Yeah.
And James, you're
By the
going
way,
to be
Lizzie says hi there, and she sends a heart.
Great.
Love. Thank you,
Hello, Lizzie. We're so happy to have that. So we have our show, which means that we have you, so we can talk to you, and we have something to look forward to. You know what I mean? We have a lot to live for. But many are suffering badly tonight. And I would like all of us together to acknowledge you and send you our compassion. So after I mention a group, let's all look at whether or not we can relate. And even if we haven't had direct experience of that kind, we can say, I feel for you. So
and we've had some more hellos. Jose says, hi, how are you? It is good to know that you both are very well. Thank you, Jose. Great to see you.
Thank you, Jose.
And there was another one.
Excellent.
Karen. She said, good to see you both. And she sends 3 loves.
Oh, good. Good to see you too, honey. So here, we're going to go through this, and you'll get the gist of it as we go through. Okay. So people are out of work and don't know if their jobs are coming back. Anybody out there relate to that? Are any of you experiencing that? So if so, you can say, I feel that too. I have that too. And if not, you can say, I feel for you. So can we do this together?
Yeah. I feel for you.
I feel for you. Well, actually, we are having this too.
I know what it's like to be out of a job.
Right. And we are, facing that ourselves. And it looks like we have more.
Yes, we have another. Tracy says hello. Hello, Tracy. And Amy says, "Yay for getting a new puppy."
Oh, yes,
That
absolutely.
should brighten our lives.
Yes, I create a lot of chaos, but there it is.
Love and chaos going together.
Okay, so a lot of people are out of work and don't know if their jobs are coming back because they don't know if their industries are going under, if their companies are going under. Now, on the other hand, we have people who are still working, but under difficult circumstances. They're isolated in their homes, perhaps, and they don't have their normal supports. They don't have equipment that they normally have, their printers, their scanners, that whatever it is. They don't have good phone service. They're struggling. Uh, they feel alone with their problems. They don't have that camaraderie. They don't think that they could be isolated, and so on. And so, uh, are you still working but under difficult situation? We have another comment. Oh,
Oh, we have a
several.
couple of comments
Yes.
here. Yasin from Indonesia says, "Present, listen to you, blessed," and sends all sorts of blessings and love.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Yasin. Same
Yes.
to you. And then Ilan says, "I recognize there is suffering."
Yes. Yes, and it's real. I mean, this is
This is
major.
real. And then Todd says, "Hi, Granny and James."
Hello, Todd. So we're all going to do that. So those of you who can understand the isolation of people who are trying to work under difficult circumstances, we think, oh yeah, they're the lucky ones because they're still getting paid, although their salaries may have been cut, but they have difficult circumstances. So we can say to you either I have that too or I feel for you. So let's do it together, group.
I
I
feel
feel
for you.
Our work is pretty much the same. Now we have other people, for example, healthcare workers, who are being exposed daily to infection without proper equipment.
This is also applying to grocery store workers and retail store workers and
That's
so on.
right, and meat packers and
Oh, yes.
and delivery people and all kinds of stuff. So healthcare workers are being exposed daily and they don't have proper equipment. And I am not a healthcare worker, but I can feel for you.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we do that together? Either I'm like in the same boat or I feel for you. All right, 1, 2, 3.
I feel for
I
you.
feel for you. Now, I want to make sure that you guys are taking it in, because if you fit in one of these categories, really take it in. We feel for you. I do feel for you. God, every time I read the news, I think I'm going to throw up, right? But I'm trying to stay tough and I'm trying to stay strong and I'm trying to stay positive because I want to give you a positive message. But I think we also have to recognize that there is incredible suffering. Now, there are people without food or without enough food. That's all over the world, including the good old USA, where I've just read that, I don't know, a fifth of all mothers are saying that their children don't have enough food. I mean, really? I mean, really, what's going on? They don't want to expand food stamps. I don't even want to get into it. But we do have enough food right now. But I can tell you that there have been years of my life where I didn't have enough food. Partly because sometimes I should say, because I was too poor. I didn't have enough money to have food. But other times because even though I had the money, I was too sick to cook and I was without food. And that's a horrible feeling.
Mm.
So if you're going through the same thing, you can say, I'm going through the same thing. Or if not, you can say, I feel for you. So 1, 2, 3.
I feel
I
for you.
feel for you. I really do feel for you because I know what that's like. Now there's people whose water has been shut off, right? Because they can't pay the bill. And I just read that the governor of Michigan is forcing the utilities to turn the water back on. But I mean, really, it's awful, awful to have your water shut off. So I have never had my water shut off. Well, actually, I did have water shut off, but not because I couldn't afford to pay for it, but because I didn't have any water. Because I was living in a place where they didn't have adequate plumbing, and I had a little room, and my little room had a, what do you call those things, where you put a thing outside your window, and
Oh, to catch the rain.
no, that was where,
Oh.
that was my refrigerator.
Oh, that was your
My
refrigerator.
refrigerator was, I lived in a lot of tenements, a lot of bad places, and there was flooding in that place, and I was complaining about the flooding, so they just shut off the water. So anyway, that's a crazy
Wow.
story, but I just thought that I would share that with you just for the fun of
You
it.
know what it's like to be without water.
I know what it's like to be without water. I had to walk many long blocks to get to a place where I could sneak in and use their bathroom in order to pee or brush my teeth.
Wow.
So, I mean, God, water shut off, it's horrible.
Hmm.
Now, there's people out there right now who are alone and they're isolated in their homes. Or they can't see their loved ones. You know, they may have somebody with them. See, we have each other.
Hmm.
But there are people who can't see their loved ones or their parents, and they worry about them, or they can't see their grandchildren and so on. And I don't get out much anyway, so it's not a big deal for me. But I can really understand that, and I can say honestly that I feel for you. So either say, I'm going through that too, or I feel for you. 1, 2, 3.
I
I
feel
feel
for
for
you.
you. Are you beginning to feel the weight of all of this? I mean, I'm only picking examples. I'm sure that I'm missing all kinds of stuff. Okay. Then there are people who are sick and cannot access health care because the normal health care is not available. Not to speak of the coronavirus. And so people are struggling with health issues and they can't get health care. Actually, I have that. And in the past, I had it because I had no health insurance. So I would go for years and years and years with absolutely no health care and terrible health. And I feel for you. I feel for you. What about you, James?
Um, I can't say that I've been denied health care, but I've hesitated to going in at times because it was so expensive and I didn't have health insurance.
Well, there you go. Then you
Yeah.
didn't have health care.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. I just had to get
That's
along without it.
right. I had a doctor once. I went to him. I was having a problem, and he said, well, if you had money, I would order blood tests. But since you don't, I'll give you some pills and hope that it helps.
Mm.
So I feel for you if you have no health care. And for many, 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 many years, I didn't have health care because I had all these pre existing illnesses and they wouldn't cover me.
Wow.
So, and I couldn't afford otherwise, right? So, what about people with the coronavirus right now?
Oh, they're suffering.
They're suffering, especially those who are in dire straits in hospitals or stuck at home trying to take care of themselves or because nobody's there with them. I mean, people who are sick and alone. Now, I really identify with that. I have been sick and alone, and sick and alone, and sick and alone. So I know what that feels like. But in any case, we can say either I have had that or I have that now or I feel for you. 1, 2, 3.
I feel for you.
It looks like we have more.
We have a comment. Helen says, I have a quick break. So happy to be able to hop on for a minute.
Oh, Helen, we are so
Oh, hi,
happy to
Helen.
have you. You're
Good
such
to
a
have you with us.
compassionate person. We'd like to add your compassion to this mix. What we're talking about is how this show is for you, whether or not you're suffering now, because either you are suffering and you need our love and support, or you are suffering that much and you have love and support to give to others. So, what else? elderly people who realize their vulnerability, or other people who have vulnerability and are living in fear.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Or they're living in a hot spot of, coronavirus. So I feel I'm an elderly person and I realize my vulnerability, but we're so isolated that I don't think about it. But others that are crammed together, oh my God, I feel for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we say this together?
Yeah. Let's do.
I feel for you.
Yeah. I feel for you.
Now, there are people who are generally depressed. Like in the ordinary life, they are depressed. And they're even more depressed right now because they don't have their normal supports. They can't go to their meetings. They can't go to the doctor. They don't have their friends, or they have all this fear on top of them. Now, I can't say that I am typically depressed, but I can get pretty down, and I know what that feels like. And I feel for you. What about you guys out there?
Yeah. I feel for you.
I feel for you.
And by the way, you were talking about elderly people. A lot of elderly people who live in senior residences
Yeah.
are now quarantined in their rooms.
Oh, God.
So they're really cut off. They're
Oh,
cut off
my
from
God.
family. Family can't visit.
Right.
And they're cut off from their normal connections socially.
Right. And then there are other people who have other kinds of mental illnesses that are made worse by stress and isolation. My God, I feel for you.
Yeah. I feel for you too.
I feel for you. Let's all say that.
All right.
I feel for you.
I feel for you.
So many of us get nuts when we are isolated or alone. I mean, I'm pretty stable generally, but oh my God, leave me alone for too long, and I am not. Then there are people who suffer from addictions, and they are just self-destructing right now. They're drinking, they're using. There's been an uptick in all of that, and thank God I don't do that anymore. I haven't had a drink since 1980, guys, and that's 40 years. But if you are still in the grip of any kind of an addiction, even if it's online gambling or whatever it is,
or gaming
or something like that, and you are self-destructing, or you're self-mutilating, or overeating, or oh my God. I know what it's like to be addicted, even though I haven't had a severe addiction for 40 years. But I know what that's like. And even if I didn't, I feel for you.
Yeah.
Let's do it together. I feel for you. Guys, at this point, I would love you to add something else. If you would like to put in the comments some way in which you are suffering, or that people who are suffering that I haven't covered, let's do that. And in the meantime, I'd like us to come together. I want us to feel like we are the world, the community of people who care about one another. And so if you feel deep suffering in yourself right now, I would like you to just sit and receive, right? Just receive some love and caring from the rest of us. And if you're not suffering terribly, you can be giving that love and caring. You could do both. But first receive. You are not alone. You are not alone in your suffering. Not only because millions, billions of people are suffering more than usual. If you are a victim of domestic violence, you may be suffering more, or child abuse, you may be suffering more.
Oh, here's a comment from Elizabeth. People suffering from constant worry and anxiety about not knowing how things are going to pan out around the coronavirus.
Exactly. So I don't know if you heard too, baby James, but it's people who are just being eaten up alive by anxiety and don't have the tools or the know-how to, to get what they need to relax, because it takes a lot to relax in a time of such stress. And because I do suffer from anxiety, and so does sweet baby James,
True.
I know what that feels like. Even though I have support, especially if you don't, I feel for you. So take in that this whole group, let's say it all together. I feel for you. I feel for you. Take it in.
We're in this together.
We're in this together. And know how important your compassion is.
Tracy has a comment. I feel for parents who are overwhelmed with trying to meet the needs of their kids, elders, and others.
Right.
And she, evidently, we happen to know that she is a parent.
That's right, and there's more. There are more comments.
Let me see. We saw that one. Here, let me get this.
Mm-hmm.
Amy has a comment. People who are suffering so much, those in senior residences, where not only are infections so high, but who are dying in much greater numbers than the population at large, and all with no ability to be with their families.
Oh, right, dying alone.
And being surrounded by people who are dying. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How frightening.
Frightening. So much despair. We feel for you. Now let's turn this from I feel for you to we feel for you.
I saw that.
Yes, I know. I just wanted to get back. We feel for you. We feel for you. Please take in, yes, we don't have money for you. I can't get you a visa. I can't give you piano lessons over the internet. I can't take your worries away. But I can feel for you. Compassion is healing in and of itself. So now what I'd like us to do as a group is feel ourselves just hugging one another. Just like, oh my God, a virtual hug if you are that person who is alone or in that nursing home or struggling because you can't figure out how to manage your job, or because you're afraid you're not going to have one, or because you're really sick and you're not getting the health care you need, or you're hungry, or you're afraid that you aren't going to have a roof over your head. Feel all of us coming together and holding you in our arms. And know that someone feels for you, that you are not forgotten. And there are people who feel that it's their job to try to manage this virus, whether you're a healthcare worker or a social worker or a political worker, and you feel the weight of having to manage this unmanageable situation that nobody knows really what to do. And if you feel the weight of responsibility, and I feel a little bit of that because I feel the weight of responsibility on every show to try to help people, and I really don't always know how. And so all of you and all of us, I feel for you. So I would like to send you divine love and healing energy and ask you to take it in and know that not only are you suffering, but that all of us are suffering.
I'll
And-
join you in that.
To some degree or other. People, young people whose futures have just seemingly disappeared.
Yeah.
They were on a track and then that track is gone. Musicians who have lost their ability to gig and to play out there. People who had so many dreams. We have so many, many, many dreams. And we watch a lot of people trying to help, some of whom maybe are not competent or are not really as well-meaning as we would hope that they are and would be. Nevertheless, there's the rest of us. And so no matter how low you are, know that at this moment, as you offer your hearts and your love to others and your compassion, you are helping someone else. So we've talked about receiving that feeling of someone cares about you. And now I'd like you to turn your hands this way and send out the love and the caring and the compassion to others. It's like when the child falls. If you have a loving mother and she picks you up and she gives you a hug, somehow you feel better. In this virtual time, let us do that for you. That's why we all need this show, whether you're suffering really badly or not, because you're either a part of receiving or part of giving compassion, or most likely you're a part of both. So remember, tomorrow night, which is Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, I will be performing improvisational piano music on Dreams of Peace. 7 p.m. Pacific time on this very Facebook page. And I will be sending out my love and support and hopefully encouragement and compassion to everyone who tunes in, whether you come live or not. And please add your comments, even afterwards, right? I always answer your comments, and Sweet Baby James and I will be back every Monday and Wednesday as long as we can and are still on this earth and are functioning.
And we have a Thursday
Yes.
at noon Pacific time support group around the coronavirus for spreading peace.
Yes, and all the instructions are in the post. So if you would like to work with us directly, live, free, go to the post, click on the link and register. It's a video conference, so you need to be part of that video conference. So until next time, we send our love and compassion.
Yes. Bye-bye for now.
Yes.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you.